This is WFYI News Now. It's February 3rd, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, Indiana's Attorney Disciplinary Commission files new discipline charges against Attorney General Todd Rokita. The IPS board publicly denounces legislation they believe would harm the district. And as fewer Indiana students go to college, we've heard from families who are skeptical of the idea that everyone should pursue a 4-year degree.
Well, now all these trade school jobs are begging for people, and you can make really good money at those also without having the college time or debt involved in it. If they want to go to college, I'm very open to that, but I'm not going to be a person to force them to go to college.
Those stories coming up, but first. The YMCA at the Athenaeum on Mass Ave will close soon, leaving only one YMCA in downtown Indianapolis. The location inside the Athenaeum has been in operation since the early 90s, when the Athenaeum Foundation took ownership of the historic building. The YMCA of Greater Indianapolis says the decision to close the location was agreed on by both organizations and will help long-term sustainability. The Athenaeum says it is exploring other options for the space inside the community center to still be used for wellness programming. Pre-pandemic, there were 3 YMCA locations downtown. The Y at the City Market closed in 2020. The Ursay Family YMCA at City Way will be the sole downtown location after the March 28th closure. 10 other facilities are located around central Indiana. Indiana's Attorney Disciplinary Commission has filed new discipline charges against Attorney General Todd Rokita. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Brandon Smith reports the commission accuses the Republican of dishonesty and making false statements to the Indiana Supreme Court.
In 2023, the state Supreme Court publicly reprimanded Rokita for his remarks about Dr. Caitlin Bernard after she provided abortion care to a 10-year-old Ohio rape victim. As part of that, the Attorney General signed an affidavit admitting to violating professional conduct rules and accepting responsibility. But in a statement following the reprimand, Rokita said he admitted to the misconduct to save a lot of taxpayer money and distraction while maintaining he did nothing wrong. The State Disciplinary Commission says that statement contradicts the signed affidavit and that Rokita's statements since demonstrate his lack of candor and dishonesty to the Supreme Court. The commission is asking the court to discipline Rokita for professional misconduct. The case could go before a hearing officer in a public hearing, and ultimately the Indiana Supreme Court will decide whether Rokita will be disciplined. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
In a statement, Rokita accused the Disciplinary Commission of trying to silence him. He says he never contradicted the Supreme Court's reprimand and that the disciplinary process is being politically weaponized against him. The Indianapolis Public Schools Board publicly denounced legislation they believe would harm the district. At a board meeting last Thursday, the 7 board members took turns reading a statement in opposition of 3 bills that would reduce funding, governance, and operations, including one bill that would dissolve the district. Commissioner Gail Cosby says they are working to protect students and teachers.
Time and time again, it is students of color and it's students from low-income communities who've had to bear the impact of these so-called solutions.
The commissioners asked community members to call state lawmakers in opposition of the bills. They also want input to develop their own plan to navigate these challenges, rather than allowing the legislature to dictate changes. And for our final story today. As fewer Indiana students go to college, we've heard from families who are skeptical of the idea that everyone should pursue a 4-year degree. WFYI education reporter Dylan Pierce McCoy went to one rural Indiana community to learn why students are skipping college and how high school can prepare them to make a good living without a bachelor's degree.
When 37-year-old Lauren Perry graduated from her rural Indiana high school, she knew she was supposed to go to college.
I think that's kind of what the guidance counselor was like. You know, you have to fill out these college applications. You have to go to college if you ever want to amount to anything.
Perry did go to college, but she didn't graduate. Now she owns a construction company with her husband, and a college degree seems unnecessary. So when Perry talks about her 3 teenage children, her perspective has changed.
Well, now all these trade school jobs are begging for people, And you can make really good money at those also without having the college time or debt involved in it. If they want to go to college, I'm very open to that, but I'm not going to be a person to force them to go to college.
That's one reason Perry and her husband chose to send their children to Shoals Community Schools in Martin County. Over the past several years, the Southern Indiana District has committed to career and technical education, what used to be called vocational ed. Shoals students now choose career-focused areas like healthcare, construction, or agriculture, alongside other high school requirements.
So it definitely gives them some more options other than just you have to go to college and figure your life out that way.
Indiana's college-going rate is stagnant after several years of decline. And the drop has been particularly steep in rural places like Martin County, where educational attainment was already low. Only about 13% of adults in the county have bachelor's degrees. Educators in Shoals say that in a place where many graduates won't go to college, it's particularly important for the high school to offer good career training. I meet Colin Hampton outside a building under construction. He walks me around a dirt lot where his team is setting up wood frames for curbs.
We're doing the curbs around here. That way we come in and pour the concrete for the parking lot. And we're just forming up for it right now.
Hampton graduated from Shoals in 2021. When he was younger, he thought the only way to avoid a job in manufacturing or mining was to go to college. But as a teenager, he learned about other options. In his construction class at Shoals, he helped pour a concrete walking path. He liked it so much that he and his father started a concrete company.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's fun. Manual labor's fun. It keeps you in shape, and then you can be artistic with it.
Hampton says he wouldn't have considered this career if it weren't for his high school experience. And he wants other students to have that same kind of exposure.
I think everybody should have experience and hand-on and figure out what you want to do, because you may not like it when you actually get into it, and then if it is a college degree, you waste a lot of money in college and you don't like it.
Students in Shoals say teachers and counselors don't pressure them to choose a particular path after high school. Instead, the school tries to show them they have options. Shoals senior Isaiah Weiniger thinks he'd be planning to go to college if he hadn't taken career classes in high school. But his construction class helped him realize he doesn't want to spend his days behind a desk.
I like my hands-on experience. Getting a little bit dirty don't bother me or nothing. And all these trades, and pretty much every trade that I know is in high demand. So that's kind of
Isaiah now wants to become a diesel mechanic, a job he's really excited about.
And I just kind of really don't want to be in a bunch of college debt, and I'm just ready to get out there and go to work, so.
Federal data shows that diesel mechanics make about $59,000 a year. That's significantly less than what workers with bachelor's degrees typically earn, but it's about $12,000 more than median wages for high school-educated workers in general. In Shoals, Indiana, I'm Dylan Pierce-McCoy.
This story was produced with support from the Higher Education Media Fellowship at the Institute for Citizens and Scholars. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.